AFC Championship game. We've been seeing on social media the trend of throwing it back to 2016. Well, we threw it back to 2016 yesterday as the Patriots and Broncos once again faced off at Mile High before they end up getting a new stadium. And so, Kevin, I'm going to toss it to you first on this one. What was your reaction to the Patriots beating the Broncos 10-7 in a defensive battle?
Well, I'll tell you what, Toddy and I were going back and forth. We mentioned the group chat a lot. We were like, man, the Broncos came out to play. Jarris didn't have first 3 and out, and then he had that huge play. The one and only Christian Gonzalez got burnt. I don't think it ever happened again, but the one time it did, it led to a scoring drive. And, Broncos fans had hope. I had a lot of Bronco fans that I know said, Kevin, how did you feel with Nick Foles going into it? And I was like, well, Nick Foles had a regular season game. He didn't just first game, was taking off the helmet, put on the cleats in the NFC Championship game. I feel a little bit more worried. But Jarris Stidham, he played a great game. He did have some mistakes. The weather, I know how to play a factor into it. First half, clear skies. You come out of halftime, a little bit of snow. They're saying how it really only affects one team going towards the snow, and then timeout comes out. You can't even see the white lines. So the Broncos had a hell of a game. They made every play to win that game, even with Stidham playing the way he did. So I know a lot of people, including myself, are going to say it would have been a lot better to see Bo Nix. The guy that got you to the finish line. You would love to see him, see what he can do. We've seen Bo Nix have crazy comebacks, including against the Eagles. He was down 33-0 against the Giants, came back and won. So Bo Nix single-handedly really won this team a lot of games. And I'm sure Uncle Jerry would attest to it. You're used to doing so much for so long, and then you have a week to prepare with a guy who hasn't taken a snap all season. He was the first guy to appear in an AFC Championship game as a backup quarterback that didn't take one snap all season. So there's a lot of backups that get to play, but they play at some point throughout the regular season. He did not take one snap in the regular season. So it's cadence issues. It's running the right routes. You saw that he was really just throwing the ball to Cortland Sutton. They have a lot of guys like Marvin Mims. They have a lot of Evan Ingram. They have a lot of other guys that can get the ball going. But you can really tell early on that it was going to be a Cortland Sutton show. So he did the best that he could. And from a Patriots standpoint, they've looked awful. I wanted to say that they haven't really looked like the regular season Patriots all year. But before anyone else is able to get this stat off, they were the first team in NFL history to go 9-0 on the road. So that's crazy to think. And I know Toddy's thinking in his head, well, Kevin, you made fun of us for having a cupcake schedule. They had a princess cupcake schedule. And you know what? They did. They can't pick who has the play in front of them. I think this just doubles down that Mike Vrabel should be coach of the year. Back-to-back 4-13 seasons, and now you're playing in a Super Bowl. They had a lot of the same players, but the coach comes in and brings that player mentality, and you can see that the guys love to play for him. Like a D'Amico Ryan, you see a lot of these ex-NFL players becoming coaches, and they really get a way to rally around. Because a lot of guys that do X's and O's, but if a coach tells you to run through and tackle somebody and they've never tackled somebody in their life, it's different when Mike Vrabel can show him taking off someone's helmet. So great season to the Broncos, and unfortunately, I don't know. The Niner fans here are not rooting for Seattle, but I damn sure don't want the Seahawks or the Patriots to win. I've seen enough of those in my day, so if we can get away from that as far as possible, I'm all in.
Yeah. So Jerry, what was your takeaways from the Patriots beating the Broncos 10-7?
Yeah, they obviously, when you've got a backup quarterback who's never played, he needed to play a perfect game, or really just not as much a perfect game as one of which you just don't make any mistakes. His mistakes were huge, right? And so a part of that, I don't know what that pass and the interception, two of the bigger mistakes he made were just somebody who's hasn't played and just made, like, you want to call him rookie mistakes, but he's obviously was not a rookie. But I think if Bo Nix was there, that would have been a good game regardless of the weather, because they're able. He's able to maintain that team. They've had that confidence of coming back, and I just think that without Bo Nix, that they really weren't going to win this game at all from the beginning, and it was a matter of the fact that they hung in there and the weather that kind of kept them that way. As for the Patriots, you're right. I mean, a soft schedule normally comes back to haunt you down the road, especially in championship games, and they got one coming up, and so we'll see how that works out. I'll give you my prediction later to that one.
Sounds good, and that was a great tease right there. And so we see the comment on the bottom of the screen from Instagram as Sal said, get your points, Sean Payton, because that was an interesting call there in the first half where I believe the Broncos had 4th and 1 and they're in the red zone and Sean Payton decides to go for it. And you have Jarrett Stidham get absolutely leveled rather than taking the points going up 10-0 at that point. They end up losing the game 10-7. And so obviously those 3 points ended up mattering in the end. And so Kaz, now I'm going to toss it over to you because last week when you and I were closing out the show, you decided to be a devil's advocate. I gave you your credit because you made the bold prediction of taking the Broncos to win that game, and they came extremely close. So what was your reaction to the Patriots beating the Broncos 10-7, Kaz?
Not sure if you saw my TikTok. Well, actually, no, you didn't see my TikTok because for some reason when I posted it nobody can see it besides me. I don't know what's going on. TikTok is tripping.
Oh, you put it on private?
No, it's not. I've been troubleshooting it for about I did 3 hours. I can't figure out what's going on. I uploaded it twice. It's the same thing. Either way, it doesn't matter. You saw it on Instagram. I put it on my YouTube as well. First off, I said in my prediction, I said the Patriots should win this game. I'm like, they should probably handle them. You got Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, and this could either be a really solid game or a train wreck of a game. And, we're not really talking about Jarrett Stidham actually playing well. I've heard you and I've heard Kevin's uncle, mention how, he made mistakes, but it's like that game could have went way downhill, far worse than what it was. You have a backup quarterback. He should have been making multiple mistakes, a lot of mistakes, multiple interceptions, probably fumbles, missing throws. He actually performed at the same level as Drake May. The only thing Drake May did was he ran for that first time at the very end. He barely threw for 100 yards. I don't think he even threw for 100 yards, but he threw for 87 or something.
He was at 89.
Yeah. So, it's not like he played terrible because if he played terrible, then Drake May played terrible. And I wouldn't say that. The weather definitely factored in. But I'm very proud of myself for, and we'll talk about later on, for the Seattle Seahawks game and the LA Rams game. But I pretty much predicted both those games to a T. I was spot on. I just picked the wrong winner. That's it. So the games went exactly how I thought they were going to go. I said Jarrett Stidham can definitely go in there and play solid football and put them in position to win this game. But at the end of the day, it came down to the wire. It wasn't like the game was over in the fourth quarter. The game came down to the very last play of the game. In both games, it's just the winner was decided by those very last plays. So when it comes from a prediction standpoint, I'm like, you called the game 99.9% accurate. It just came down to a final play. And Jarrett Stidham couldn't get the job done. Now, I see Toddy shaking his head, because, of course, he's more so like, well, but your team didn't win that you predicted. But what I said in my prediction when I did my take, I said that Bo Nix all season long, he has had multiple games where he has thrown for either 0 touchdowns or 1 touchdown. He had a 5-week stint where he kind of went off. But outside of that, the Broncos have been winning out despite him not playing tremendous football. And he only threw for 3,900 yards. So Jarrett Stidham, all he had to do was go in there and not turn the ball over. And what was the deciding factor of that game? Exactly as I said, a turnover. Take that turnover away, that's probably a different result. You take away Sean Payton going forward on that 4th down, it's probably a different result. That was anybody's game until the last minute, point blank period. So for my prediction wise, I was just glad to call the game as accurate as I did because I could look like a straight bozo if the Patriots came out there and just rolled them by 40. Which they probably could have on any other day. So good game. I really wish that I was correct on the overall pick, but I don't think that Jarrett Stidham, played as bad as everybody's making it seem. I really don't. Because if he played bad again, then we got to talk about Drake May playing horrible as well. And I don't think that either played bad. The weather factored in. The defenses played outstanding. The offenses, they worked with what they had, and that's that. I'm actually more disappointed in Drake May than I actually am in Jarrett Stidham. So good game. I think the better team did win. The team that deserves to be in the Super Bowl is there, and that is the New England Patriots. I just wanted to be the guy to take the bold take, and I did, and I'm glad I didn't look like a complete idiot when I made my prediction.
Yeah, I give credit to you for going out on a limb and taking the Broncos led by Jarrett Stidham because, as Jerry said, if you have Bo Nix in that game, it's a lot different. And I don't know if the Broncos end up winning it because the Patriots are a great team with a great defense, but the game might have been a higher scoring game because then the Patriots would have really had to rev it up if Bo Nix is out there, especially the fact that Bo Nix throughout the season, he kind of became the comeback kid where he wouldn't be playing well for 3 quarters, and then he would just become a different player in the 4th quarter.
Right.
So that was really interesting. And so, Toddy, did you want to jump in here and give us your thoughts on the Patriots beating the Broncos 10-7?
Yeah, before you say that, Toddy, I want to
Cat-
know why you shaking your head though first. What were you shaking your head about? Go with that first.
Kaz is the same guy that said the Eagles were the better team in the 49ers and Eagles game. And
All roads
Oh,
lead back
why
to
are we
Eagles and
going back to that
Niners.
now?
All
and the
roads
Kaz
lead back to
goes,
the
he goes,
Eagles
hey,
and
well,
Niners.
I was spot on my prediction. I just didn't pick the right people to win. Ain't that what predictions is for? You're supposed to pick the right winner.
Sounds pretty similar to that game.
Uncle JB here on the show, I like to look at it from a gambling perspective because there's someone on this podcast that likes to gamble. The line on this game when it opened started at 5.5, which was a little bit more than a little bit less what I thought it would be, because given the fact that Bo Nix had broken his ankle and Sean Payton came out and announced that, I thought it would have been like a double-digit spread, to be honest. But if you look throughout the week, the line continues to drop. It dropped to like 4.5. It dropped, and then it closed at 3.5 points. So like a 2-point jump from Sunday to Sunday, basically. Basically, Vegas knows something that we don't. Apparently, it could have been something about the weather because over the weekend and still going on to this day, there's been like a big old blizzard storm from like the East Coast on towards Colorado. I know in New England, if this game would have been played in New England, it probably might have gotten canceled just because of how severe that it looked and was over the weekend in New England, in that particular area of the United States. But the weather and Bo Nix not playing definitely factored into that point spread being a little bit started to come down a little bit. I think the weather had a lot to do with it, though. But as far as the game goes, Jared Stidham came out, didn't really. He was obviously uneasy because he hadn't played a snap literally the whole entire year up until the AFC Championship game. So all quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, you usually like to collect their money, but kind of like insurance. Kind of hope nothing ever happens. And all of a sudden, boom, your car crashes. I need a new car. Or I need this, that, and the third.
Great
Similar
example.
with backup quarterbacks. You hope you never have to play, and then all of a sudden, when things just go left, you got to be ready. So, ironically, Jared Stidham was drafted by the New England Patriots, and for him to play against his old team in the AFC Championship, it was literally set up for him. I don't think really anybody expected him to like put up crazy numbers, given the fact that he wasn't really active and hasn't really played that many snaps at all, like in his entire career. So for him to come out and throw that touchdown to Mims, like on the second drive, I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like no one expected him to do too much, and especially in the conditions that he was playing in, shocked me early on. And then as the game kind of progressed, you saw the inability of him being able to move the ball consistently. It was like, all right, Patriots let him get his one off, and then Vrabel kind of really started to figure it out. I thought Ramondre Stevenson was very key for them in this game. It really didn't really show in the stat box. He rushed for 71 yards for 25 carries, but they were very, very in key points of time when they needed him to put the ball on the ground. So I thought Drake May, he didn't really do too much. I thought in a couple of really key 3rd and 6s, he was able to keep the ball, keep the chains moving, and for him to, in really, really key spots in the game, he was able to use his legs to kind of keep them going. Obviously, they were able to score the touchdown and had the field goal late. Sean Payton not electing to go for the field goal there, I understand kind of why, in a sense. There's kind of been a theme in the playoffs where a lot of coaches are passing up on 3 points and trying to go for the touchdown. Now, a lot of it hasn't worked out to its advantage, but there are some spots in the playoffs, like when Ben Johnson ended up going for it on 4th down in the playoffs. Obviously, in the previous game, it worked out for him, but he also got bit by the bullet on 4th down a couple of times in the last game against the Rams, because there were a bunch of times where they could have kicked the field goal and probably have won that game had they would have taken the points. So The theme for the playoffs has been you should take the points rather than just go for it, because at the end of the day, you're kind of taking points off the board. So there are times to be conservative and there are times to be aggressive. I thought in that particular point, points were coming out of premium. So in those conditions, you probably should take the 3 points, but I understand why Sean Payton wanted to go for the gusto, because it's the AFC Championship. It's now or never. You have your backup quarterback. What do you have to lose? So can't really fault him too much. I mean, who would have predicted that Bo Nix would break his ankle literally on the second to last play of the game? And now he has to play with a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game. So hats off to him. I think if Bo Nix was healthy, Broncos probably would have won this game. There were a lot of opportunities for the Broncos to push the ball down the field. You see plays throughout the season that Bo Nix has made routinely. Stidham obviously wasn't able to do. There was someone on this podcast that did have the Broncos as the number 1 team in the NFL, but didn't predict that they would have their quarterback.
Wonder who that was
at the end of the season. I do also want to give a shout out to brother Keith. We did a factor cap on the show that said it was factor cap. Are the Patriots and the Broncos going to play each other in the AFC Championship game? He was spot on. So hats off to Keith. I don't know if he predicted Mike McCarthy to the Steelers, but he predicted that game. So.
Yeah, I gotta check in with Keith. I'm not sure how he's feeling about the Yinzer going back to Pittsburgh to become their new head coach. And I actually saw something that Matthew Berry, NBC's fantasy expert, posted today, where he's just comparing the resumes of a John Harbaugh and a Mike McCarthy, and it's actually like extremely similar. But everyone's really high on John Harbaugh becoming the head coach of the Giants, but not so high on Mike McCarthy getting the job in Pittsburgh. So that's really interesting. And we'll get to all the coaching hires when it ends up being finalized, with all the positions being filled rather than going one by one every single week, as Robert Saleh was starting to finalize the deal with the Titans when we were recording last week. And so it's all happening quickly, and we'll get to that likely once the Super Bowl concludes. But Kevin, you wanted to jump back in?
So before we move on to the next game, I wanted to do a little pop quiz. So there have been 6 quarterbacks in NFL history to make it to the Super Bowl in year 2. Can you guys name those 6 quarterbacks?
Ben Roethlisberger.
He is one of them.
Russell Wilson.
He is one of
them. Drake May is now one of them.
Yes.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Cass.
Because that's 4.
Need 2 more.
Yeah, give me some credit, Vaughn. Always hating on a brother, man. Always hating.
Jared, you got one?
You said who?
What was the question? I couldn't hear it.
So there's been 6 quarterbacks to make it to the Super Bowl in their sophomore year.
I still can't hear it.
NFL quarterbacks to make to the Super Bowl in their second year in the NFL.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear everybody but Kevin.
All right, well, someone else can answer
the question was, who are the 6 quarterbacks to make it to the Super Bowl in their second year?
He probably has me muted.
Second year.
So we got Drake May, we got Russell Wilson, and we got Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Burrow. So there's 2 more or 3 more guys.
And we're talking about this day and age, or we're going all the way back?
All time.
NFL history.
Because I think Marino was a second-year guy.
Dan Marino's one of them. So
okay.
There you go.
I think Marino might have been.
There are 2 more guys, which I'm surprised weren't named first.
So we have 5 now?
Tom Brady?
We already named Tom Brady.
Oh, do we? Oh.
So we have them all.
No, we have 2 more.
Brady.
I thought
Wilson, Burrow,
we said Drake May,
Marino,
Russell Wilson,
Drake
Tom
May.
Brady, Kurt Warner, Dan Marino, Ben Roethlisberger, and Joe Burrow. There's 2 more quarterbacks.
And they're obvious based on
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
No. Whoa. What?
I thought we said them all.
Second year.
They're obvious.
Completely obvious.
To me, Russell Wilson was obvious.
Aaron Rodgers.
Obvious.
Aaron Rodgers.
No, he's backup for.
If you guys are ready to give up, let me know.
I'm just trying
Oh
to
my
say.
God, it's obvious.
Completely obvious. Completely obvious.
Jalen Hurts?
Not that obvious.
Brock Purdy.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
finally.
I thought we
Brock
said that
Purdy.
already.
Yeah.
No one said Brock Purdy. We have one more name.
Brock Purdy.
Is this completely
Okay.
obvious too?
I thought you meant like,
It
you know,
should be.
being in the Super Bowl, being competitive and winning.
We always love a good Niner shot. So we got one more name.
Hey. So we got another obvious one. Colin Kaepernick?
Yes, sir.
Dang, I was about
I
Wow.
was say how long the two Niner guys didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
once Kevin was saying it was obvious, I was like, it's got to be Niner quarterbacks. Garoppolo went through my head, and I'm like, hell no. And yeah, Purdy crossed my mind because Purdy, Toddy, we forget. We always talk about that NFC Championship game when Purdy got knocked out with the arm injury. But like he was a rookie that year, then came back the next year and made it to the Super Bowl. And then Colin Kaepernick, he did Kaepernick sit? I think he sat his rookie year, and then he came back in, or then he came in for the first time in place of Alex Smith when I think Alex Smith had a concussion. Kaepernick plays that Monday Night Football game against the Bears, then he never looks back. Exactly.
Did any of those second-year quarterbacks win Super Bowl?
Tom Brady won. Russell Wilson
did,
won.
okay.
Kurt Warner won. Joe Burrow lost. Brock Purdy lost. Colin Kaepernick lost. Did Dan Marino win?
Marino lost. Burrow
No, he lost.
No,
Kaepernick
never got a
lost.
ring.
Did Ben win this one? Because Ben's been to two. Did he win his second one? Or did he win his first one?
Santonio,
he won the one against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, with the catch, right? The toe touch.
Ben beat Seattle. I don't know if it was
Seattle.
Yeah, Ben beat Seattle in 06. That was Jerome Bettis' last year.
Okay, so yes, it was his first. Yeah, he won his first one. So he was the only one on this list, in addition to Tom Brady and Kurt Warner and Russell Wilson that won. So Drake Mays is some good competition.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting.